fragile among giants. In the grand halls of the Galactic Council, Earth's delegation was barely noticed. Human Ambassador Leora Hayes stood stiffly in her diplomatic robes, flanked by aides and artificial translators. Around her towered species from across the stars, feathered Solari, crystalline Vorin, and the dominant Volari, tall and imperious in their gold-trimmed armor. They called this place the Concord of Civilizations, a place of peace and progress. But for humanity, it felt more like a courtroom, one where they were always on trial. "We object to the Volari mining in the Baltic Trench," Leora said, voice steady despite the weight pressing down on her. "It's Earth's sovereign ocean. You have already drained 300 cubic kilometers of our marine ecosystem." High Magistrate Coral of the Volari, 8 feet of scale disdain, didn't even look at her. "Primitive worlds must contribute to the greater cause. You are protected, fed, and given technology. In return, we take what is needed." Another delegate chuckled. "Be thankful we don't take your son." Leora opened her mouth, but a quiet warning blinked from her aide. "Do not provoke them." She swallowed her anger. Earth was weak. They had only recently discovered FTL travel, and only by salvaging wreckage from a fallen alien vessel. Their military was a shadow compared to the great fleets that patrolled the stars. Their influence? Non-existent. So Earth signed the treaties, accepted the protectorate status, smiled through the exploitation. After all, the galaxy was vast and humanity was new. They needed allies, not enemies. But Earth knew it was being bled. The Volari controlled orbital space around Mars and stripped its moons bare. Solari researchers borrowed human DNA for experiments. Cultural archives were copied, erased, and replaced with Volari-approved history. Colonies established on Proxima and Tau Ceti were forced to relocate when alien construction projects deemed them obstacles. A soft invasion, wrapped in politeness and legal terms. Humanity's leaders thought they could wait it out, grow stronger in secret, learn, adapt, and maybe, one day, stand equal. But the cracks were showing. On Earth, protests erupted. Is this peace or slavery? They take, and we bow. How long before they take us too? Behind the scenes, something stirred. The Earth Defense Compact, once a ceremonial coalition, began secretly coordinating weapon development. Black budget labs reverse-engineered stolen alien tech. AI-run training programs quietly built the first real human fleet in underground facilities across Luna and Ceres. Even so, most still hoped peace would hold. Then came the broadcast. A human colony on Eden's Reach, home to 300,000 settlers, was annihilated during a Volari military exercise. Misfire, they claimed. Collateral damage. No warning. No apology. Just one message from the Volari admiral. Your people should not have settled near a war zone. You were warned. Next time, obey the boundaries we set. And the Galactic Council? They closed the session with no sanctions. No justice. Something broke on Earth that day. Something deep. Because even the weakest creature, cornered long enough, will bite. The spark of wrath. The skies over Earth were silent, but the world beneath boiled with fury. News of Eden's Reach spread like fire through every city, every network, every soul. The Volari had obliterated a thriving human colony. Children, scientists, farmers, all gone. Their excuse? Training mishap. In a broadcast to the Galactic Council, Earth's President Lien Zhang appeared composed. Behind her steel-gray eyes, however, was a storm. We are told to be patient, to be grateful. We are told our place is to serve, obey, and be silent. But Eden's Reach was not a military base. It was a home, and now it's ash. The council responded with the usual condolences, investigations, and diplomatic deflections. Volari representatives never even blinked. But humanity did more than blink. They woke up. In underground bunkers beneath Alaska, orbital shipyards above the moon, and research hubs buried beneath Martian dust, silent directives were unlocked. Projects long buried under layers of deniability came alive. Project Nightforge, the AI ship design program, was greenlit. Project Eidolon, the stealth satellite network, was launched. In Project Gravedigger, an offensive strike doctrine designed for asymmetric warfare against galactic powers, was activated. No more waiting. No more hope that the galaxy would see reason. Earth's first act of defiance came from a ghost, the NSS Revenant, a prototype corvette powered by dark matter fusion and wrapped in sensor-bending cloaks. It emerged near a Volari mining convoy above Jupiter's moon Callisto. The Volari ships didn't even raise shields. They never got the chance. The Revenant fired 6 rail slugs at point-blank range, each the size of a car, moving at near-relativistic speed. In 3 seconds, 4 Volari ships were shredded, their remains vaporized by internal explosions. Before the Volari could respond, the Revenant was gone. Earth denied involvement, of course. The Galactic Council fumed, threatened investigations, and demanded cooperation. Privately, Earth celebrated. Publicly, Earth buried its dead and prepared for war. Across Earth, unity formed from ashes. Old rivalries between nations faded as humanity understood one truth. They were not fighting for politics anymore. They were fighting for survival, for dignity, for existence. In a speech broadcast to all human colonies, President Zhang stood before the ruined memorial of Eden's Reach. They thought our silence was weakness. They mistook our restraint for fear. But today, we are no longer waiting to be saved. Today, we become our own salvation. In orbit, the first human war fleet, sleek, lethal ships of Earth design fused with stolen alien tech, rose from hidden docks. Names like Vengeance, Liberty's End, and Eden's Fury were etched into hulls forged from Earth's resolve. On alien worlds, smugglers whispered in fear. The humans are building something. We don't know what, but it's coming. The Volari laughed. But for the first time, their laughter felt forced. Because something had changed. Humanity wasn't just mourning anymore. It was sharpening its teeth. Rise of the Relentless. The Volari fleet arrived in Earth's orbit in full ceremonial form. 20 capital ships, gleaming with golden hulls and bristling with weapons designed to intimidate lesser species. It was meant to be a warning, not a war. Admiral Kareth Soul transmitted a simple message. Submit to inspection, disarm your orbital defenses, or face removal from the stars. Earth did not respond immediately. Instead, the alien ships began to notice something strange. Phantom signals in their comms, navigation drift, sudden power fluctuations. Within minutes, the lead Volari cruiser lost all targeting functions. Another ship found its own AI locked in a recursive logic loop. Then, Earth responded with silence. And then strike. From the shadow of the moon, a swarm of human drones emerged, dark as night and nearly invisible to Volari sensors. They didn't fire in long-range duels. They infiltrated, hacking, jamming, and crippling systems from inside the enemy. The Volari flagship tried to retreat. It never made it. From behind Earth's horizon, the EDCS Revenant returned, upgraded, armed with gravity lances and dark matter torpedoes. One shot from the Revenant punched through the Volari command ship like it was made of paper, tearing the vessel in half before it detonated in a white-hot blast of plasma. The Earth Defense Compact had revealed its hand. Not only had humanity adapted, they had surpassed every expectation. Their new fleet was a terrifying blend of alien technology, human ingenuity, and a ruthless doctrine of speed, stealth, and precision. And now, it struck without hesitation. Coordinated strikes hit Volari installations across human space. Orbital depots exploded in synchronized sabotage. Human Black Ops teams, trained in zero-G combat and equipped with adaptive armor, silenced command outposts, and liberated resource hubs. But it wasn't just force, it was calculation. Humanity had studied alien strategy. They knew the Volari's weaknesses, their rigid command chains, their pride, their dependence on centralized control. One by one, Earth's forces dismantled their ability to respond. On Galactinet, the reaction was immediate. The Council was in uproar. Primitive aggression, unprovoked retaliation, violation of galactic peace. But across the stars, oppressed species watched Earth's rebellion and whispered in awe. Some began to hope. Others began to act. On the outer colonies of the Varnax, enslaved laborers revolted, using jury-rigged human transmitters to coordinate. On Dravix, 4 rebel ships bearing Earth's emblem arrived with supplies and weapons. Humanity hadn't declared war on just one empire. It had shattered the illusion of galactic invincibility. Inside the war rooms beneath Geneva, President Zhang stood with military commanders, eyes focused on a glowing star map. "Are we ready for what comes next?" one general asked. She nodded. "No one's ever ready. But we're no longer the species they can push around." Across the void, the Valari were regrouping, preparing a massive retaliation. They thought Earth was a rogue upstart. What they didn't realize was that Earth wasn't alone anymore. Humanity had become a symbol, and symbols ignite revolutions. The day the galaxy trembled, the Valari Empire assembled the largest fleet in its history. 500 warships, dreadnoughts, carriers, Annihilator-class destroyers surged toward the Sol system. Their orders were simple: make Earth kneel or make it burn. The galaxy watched in silence, expecting a swift end to the human rebellion. But humanity didn't wait for the storm. They became the storm. Before the Valari Armada could even cross the halfway mark, Earth struck first. Utilizing stolen warp gate schematics and hyperspace tunneling, technologies the Valari had long claimed humanity was too primitive to understand, Earth's fleet emerged behind enemy lines. Small, agile warships deployed gravitational disruption bombs on the Valari staging worlds. Supply depots vanished into implosions. Communication hubs went dark. The Valari rear collapsed before their front even engaged. Admiral Carasol's replacement, a creature of rigid doctrine, panicked. Half the fleet redirected to protect logistics. The other half forged ahead toward Earth, alone and confused. And humanity was waiting. Above Earth, the home front wall activated. A mesh of cloaked orbital defense platforms, magnetic rail cannons, and satellite-mounted AI control particle lances. Valari ships dropped out of FDL into a kill zone. Within moments, over a dozen capital ships were disabled. Then came the Hammerfall fleet, human warships black as void, moving in deadly formations, striking from behind moons, inside asteroid fields, and through stealth corridors invisible to alien sensors. The Valari fleet fractured. Some ships fought to the death. Others attempted retreat, only to find their FTL routes jammed and their own AI systems whispering with viral human code. The galaxy, watching through emergency council feeds, saw what none thought possible. The Valari, undefeated for millennia, were retreating from Earth. And then came Earth's final move, broadcast across every known channel. President Zhang, standing on the bridge of the Eden's Fury, stared into the camera. "This is not conquest. This is consequence. We asked for peace. You gave us chains. You stole our oceans, burned our colonies, and mocked our dead. And still we waited. But when you killed our children and called it acceptable loss, you gave us no choice. We do not want your throne. We want you to remember. We are human, and we are done kneeling." The Valari homeworld, Varaxis, awoke to find its orbital defenses disabled. Not destroyed, disabled. Human infiltration units had overridden their entire planetary network. Earth didn't fire a single shot. The message was clear. We could destroy you, but we don't need to. We've already won. The Galactic Council met in emergency session. For the first time in history, Earth was granted full strategic sovereignty, war reparations, and a permanent seat, alongside a very real warning. Do not provoke them again. On Earth, bells tolled for the dead. Fires were lit for Eden's reach. But behind the grief stood something unshakable. Unity forged in war, and a new place among the stars carved by will and wrath. Humanity was weak once, but the galaxy pushed too far. Now, they would never forget what followed.